I want to start with something very ordinary. If you have ever watched a child learn, you may have noticed this. Grades are not only about intelligence, they are not only about the textbook, the homework, or the method. Sometimes, a child gets better at a subject because they like the teacher. Not the subject first, the teacher first. The child likes the way that adult explains things. They like being noticed. They like that the teacher remembers their name, waits 1 extra second, or says, "Try again. You are closer than you think." And once that emotional door opens, the subject becomes less frightening. This is the part of education that makes the current AI school debate much more complicated than a simple question of efficiency. Because AI really can increase learning efficiency. That is not the weak part of the argument. The weak part is pretending that efficiency is the whole of education. In the last few days, AI education moved from experiment to headline. Alpha Schools, a private school network built around AI-supported learning, said it plans to expand to 50 campuses in the 2026 school year. Houston ISD is piloting an alpha-powered AI platform in 2 elementary schools. At the same time, a school district in New York paused a plan to use a humanoid AI robot teacher after public backlash. This is no longer a future question. Parents, teachers, and students are already being asked to decide what should be automated, what should be assisted, and what should never be surrendered. Here is my view. AI should absolutely enter education, but AI should enter as a tool, not as the emotional center of the classroom. The most attractive promise of AI education is personalization. A child gets stuck on fractions, and the system can explain the same idea 5 different ways. A student makes the same grammar mistake again and again, and the system can notice the pattern instantly. A teacher needs practice questions, examples, summaries, or a reading-level rewrite, and AI can produce those in seconds. That matters. For parents, this can reduce the nightly homework war. For teachers, it can reduce repetitive planning. For children, it can make practice less humiliating, because an AI tutor does not sigh, roll its eyes, or make the student feel stupid. There is a real educational opportunity here. But look carefully at the word opportunity. Opportunity is not destiny. The danger is that schools start measuring only the part AI is good at. Speed, practice, correctness, dashboards, progress bars, and daily minutes completed. Those things are useful. They are also incomplete. A child is not a learning machine waiting for better software. A child has embarrassment, pride, fear, boredom, loyalty, defiance, curiosity. The desire to impress someone, the desire not to disappoint someone, the sudden belief that maybe they are good at something after all. That is why the teacher-student relationship is not decoration. It is infrastructure. When a child likes a teacher, that teacher often becomes the bridge to a subject the child would otherwise reject. Maybe math becomes less cold because one teacher made the child feel capable. Maybe writing becomes less painful because one teacher treated the first messy draft as a beginning, not a failure. Maybe science becomes exciting because a teacher's eyes lit up while explaining something small. You can call that emotion, you can call it motivation, you can call it trust. Whatever word you choose, AI does not fully own it. AI can simulate encouragement, it can say the right sentence, it can produce a friendly tone, it can adapt the next question. But the child still knows, at some level, that there is no person behind the care. And in education, perceived care matters. This does not mean human teachers are perfect. Some teachers damage confidence. Some classrooms are boring. Some schools waste time. It would be dishonest to defend the old system as if it were sacred. The traditional classroom has real problems. One pace for 30 students, too much passive listening, too little individual feedback, and teachers drowning in administrative work. AI can help attack those problems. The best version of AI education is not a robot replacing a teacher. It is a teacher with better instruments. Imagine a classroom where AI handles first-pass practice, detects who is confused, generates alternate examples, translates hard reading into simpler language, and gives teachers a map of where students are struggling. Then the teacher uses that map to do the human work, noticing the quiet kid, challenging the overconfident kid, calming the anxious kid, and turning a correct answer into deeper understanding. That version makes sense. The teacher becomes less of a content delivery machine and more of a coach, diagnostician, mentor, and emotional anchor. But the bad version is also easy to imagine. A school buys an AI platform and calls it innovation. Children sit in front of screens. Adults become room monitors. The dashboard looks impressive. The marketing says personalized learning. But the child experiences school as a sequence of tasks, not as a human community. That is not education. That is optimized instruction. And optimized instruction is not enough. This is especially important for younger children. Adults often underestimate how social learning is. A child does not only learn what is explained, they learn what is valued. They learn when to persist. They learn how to handle shame. They learn whether effort is normal. They learn whether asking a question is safe. Those lessons are carried by people. Parents know this instinctively. If a child says, "I hate English," the solution is not always more grammar drills. Sometimes the child had one bad experience. Sometimes they felt laughed at. Sometimes they decided, privately, that they are not that kind of person. An AI tutor may help with vocabulary. A good teacher may help the child rewrite the story they tell about themselves. That difference matters. So how should parents think about this? First, do not reject AI because it is new. A child who never learns to use AI will be at a disadvantage. AI is becoming part of writing, research, coding, language learning, and everyday work. Refusing to teach it is not protection, it is delay. Second, do not outsource learning to AI. If AI gives the answer, the child may finish the homework and lose the lesson. Parents should ask, did AI help my child think, or did it think for them? Third, watch the child's emotional relationship with learning. Are they becoming more curious or only faster? Are they asking better questions or only completing tasks? Are they more confident or more dependent? Fourth, protect human relationships around education. A good teacher, a patient parent, a classmate who explains something clearly, a coach who expects more. These are not old-fashioned leftovers. They are part of the learning system. For schools, the rule should be simple. Use AI where the task is repetitive, diagnostic, or customizable. Use humans where the task involves trust, judgment, identity, conflict, encouragement, ethics, and meaning. If a school cannot explain which parts belong to AI and which parts require adults, it is not ready to redesign learning. The future of education should not be anti-AI, but it also should not be anti-human. The real question is not whether AI can teach a child something faster. It can. The real question is whether the child will still have people around them who make learning feel worth doing. Because a child may practice with a machine, but very often, they fall in love with a subject through a person. UnBull verdict. AI can be a powerful tutor. It can make practice faster, feedback cheaper, and learning more flexible. But if we remove the emotional bridge between child and teacher, we may improve instruction while weakening education itself. AI can answer questions. A real teacher can make a child want to keep asking them.